What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Happy freaking Friday. This one is going to be a banger. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day so far, a morning so far. You're on your way to work, school. Your manager's a hoe. And if you're the manager, you're a hoe.
I'm still pregnant, and I think this might be our last pregnant podcast, right?
Maybe, babe. Don't count.
I don't know. My due date is next Wednesday. But I did go to the doctor's today, and it looks like I'm dilated, and I'm dilating pretty good. So hopefully I give birth this week or within my due date. But it might be our last pregnant podcast, guys. This is the last time you will see me like this.
Yeah, guys. How does it feel to know this is our last pregnant podcast?
You guys are going to be aunts and uncles.
This is the last podcast that it will just be us two for the rest of our lives.
Yep. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a good Friday so far. I did want to apologize for last Friday's podcast because I forgot to make it live early or to schedule it. So it went live pretty late, but I hope you guys liked it regardless.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, we asked you to ask us some questions just so it doesn't get a little repetitive here. And let's go. Let's see what our subscribers, our followers, our friends are asking us here on the gram.
So the first question that they asked us is how we're preparing for labor. And it's funny because today on my live, I was talking to you guys about what I'm doing. And a lot of you guys were telling me like, oh, he's going to come out the exact same way he went in. And I think you're right because we were experimenting this week and I'm dilated. So I think we're doing something right.
What do you mean he's going to come out the same way he went in?
He's going to come out by doing the same thing that we did to get him in is what they were saying.
So we're going to have like sex and then he's going to come out?
No, like having a lot of sex is what makes him come out.
Oh.
And as I said, we were experimenting and apparently I'm dilated. So I think we're doing good, right?
What were we experimenting? Anyways, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of you guys wanted to know what I'm doing for that. But today I actually have a vlog going up on that. The whole video is about how I'm preparing, like what I'm eating, what I'm drinking and all of that. So you guys will hear more about that on my channel if you guys want to be more on the like deep end of my pregnancy. But for now, yeah, that's what we've been doing so far.
Hold up, babe. Before we continue, I want to say two things. First of all, YouTube is having this weird glitch, guys, where you can't see our replies or our likes on the comments. I don't know what's going on. I've noticed that on our friends' channels as well. So please don't think that we're not liking or replying to some of your guys' comments. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like. We have so many sometimes that I don't reply to every single one, but I can assure you that we do reply and like at least 95% of them. So I know from your end it might look like we're not, guys, and we're so sorry. But if you follow me on Instagram, I've been posting screenshots of where we were and where we have. So thank you for that. And second, I want to announce the winner of the $100 giveaway from last podcast, and that will go to our friend. Give me a second here. Our friend Valeria Martinez. I'll post a screenshot right here. Go ahead and message us, either one of us, on Instagram for your Cash App. Make sure you have Cash App.
We're just gonna go a little bit. It's all scattered. You guys know there's so many topics that we could talk about, but one of them being this one kind of stood out to me because our experience we didn't do much planning, but it says talk about how you guys can save money to move out at such a young age. And I feel like I want to talk about this because we didn't, right? I feel like we didn't really save up to move out. I think we got engaged in August, we got married in September, and we're like, you know what, like we gotta get our apartment, and by November we had our apartment. But it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna save this or we're gonna do this. Like we didn't really plan for it. We just went with the flow and we're like, fuck it, like we're gonna make it happen. So I feel like that's really popular in the Hispanic community. I feel like I would say and more Americans are like, because I do watch a lot of white people on YouTube, and I feel like more of them are the type that they plan for like, I'm gonna save up for a whole year. But I feel like that's because a lot of American parents don't let their kids help them with bills or rent or like their phone bill or anything like that. And I feel like we start paying our phone bills, contributing to rent, to bills, insurance for cars at such a young age. So I feel like that's one of the reasons we didn't really plan it. And
second is that you essentially just have to get a good paying job, guys. I don't know I don't know why a lot of people, this might come out, I don't want this to come out in a bad way, but a lot of people just settle for what's like where they're just comfortable at. I think we should all strive to do something more, whether that be get a license to do something higher, get paid more. Obviously college, you don't need any more license to drive to become, you know what I mean? Just look into it. If you're right now, you're like living paycheck to paycheck, you don't have to. You're just as smart as anyone else out there. So if you have a skill, a hobby that you're good at, make see how you can make money off of it. And I'm sure. So yeah, we before we moved out, we both had good paying jobs. I was a truck driver. Were you still? No, you're already
No.
YouTube full time,
Yeah.
right? But before that, I'm sure
But before that,
still.
I was still at a good paying job.
Yeah, she was already at the women's clinic, so she already had a good paying job. So leave YouTube aside, we still both had good income. So just be stable. Like I feel like a lot of relationships, and we're blessed enough that me and Blanca, we have never ever argued anything financial, and but we talk with other people or we just hear online that that's the number one problem for a lot of couples is finances. They argue about it a lot. So I made sure in my conscience I would have never asked Blanca to marry me or move out if I didn't have a good paying job. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with not having one or if you're comfortable, whatever. But I always wanted to provide what she wanted and needed and more.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, if Jonathan hadn't been at a good paying job and I wasn't making enough money, I feel like we wouldn't have really even thought about moving out, because moving out is expensive, like rent and bills and groceries and then gas and insurance, and on top of all of that, like that's a lot of bills that you have to pay. So I feel like we both would have never been like, oh, let's move out if we were still like at a bad paying job. So it's like Jonathan said, if you want to move out, then yeah, instead of like thinking long term, like, oh, I have to plan and save for a year, it's like I have to look for a job that's gonna make me enough money where I can save, or that's gonna help me out if I do move out. And yeah, you do have to talk to your partner a lot, because before we were engaged, we never talked about finances, huh? Like, you never knew how much
No.
money I made. I never knew how much money he made. We just went with the flow. And now, present time, it's like we both know exactly how much money we both make. So you have to be really comfortable with your partner too, because if shit hits the fan and you guys are moved out, like, finances are gonna be a huge deal, and you're gonna have to learn how to navigate like the bills and the rent and all of that. So yeah, I feel like you have to be mature enough to know if you're in a good place to move out.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Another one is, can you guys talk about society's pressure to be successful? And I feel
Ooh.
like we were just talking about this the other day, that Jonathan, he's more of like a future type of guy, so he's so like stressed that we haven't accomplished certain things or haven't done certain things, and then I have to like ground him and be like, dude, we're 23, like, calm down. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, guys, I used to stress. I still stress a lot about it. It gives me a lot of anxiety. I'll zone out and just start thinking about my future. And then I'll start biting my nails. And before I know it, my fingers are bleeding and my mouth is bleeding. And it's just from anxiety, from thinking about the future and success. Because especially if you're Hispanic, you want to take your family out of the slumps, como le dicen. So you do have a lot of pressure. But my advice to you is live a day at a time. I believe I've heard this every day, but the one that really stuck it in my mind, I don't know why, was Lily. So shout out to her. She said that live a day at a time. So that's what I've been doing. I make a schedule. I kind of see what I need to do for the day, and then I try to accomplish those things. Get up early, work out, edit, vlog. I'm like, okay, babe, we gotta do this, and then take it a day at a time, guys, because the farther you think about your future, like the farther out it's gonna be unrealistic. For example, even with my weight loss journey, I was like, I have to be fit by the time my son comes, and that's like 3 months away. Back then, and then I was still like eating like shit and not taking it seriously. So now I take it a day at a time. I'm like, okay, I woke up, I took my vitamins, I drink a gallon of water, and no temptations. If I do fall to temptations like chips or bad junk food, then I start over again the next day. So instead of drinking a soda and then throwing the whole months away, like I'm like, fuck that, I'm a piece of shit, whatever. So just take it a day at a time, guys. Success will come if you work for it, manifest it, but also ask God when your time will come, because you will be successful, but maybe God doesn't want it to be in a year or two. It's going to be, later.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, I've seen like I don't know what the exact quote is, but it's like you can be the healthiest, the fittest person, like with your rock hard abs and your muscles and all of that, and you could have like morning routine and you could feel successful, but if you're not checking in with yourself mentally, like you're still gonna be sad. So I feel like that had a lot to do with Jonathan struggled with this a lot. He thought about the future way too much. Like he was never ever in present tense, and I feel like that's what made him overthink, what made him get so anxious. I feel like that would get him in like depressive episodes. I feel like you would get depressed really often. And I'm glad that he is like taking time to like change that a little bit, because now I remember like there would be times where he'd be like eat a bag of chips and he'd be like, oh fuck, like I'm done, like I'm gonna be fat for the rest of my life. And now like if he eats chips, he's like, okay, fuck it, like tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and go to the gym and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, guys, I feel like if you have ever heard of the butterfly effect, they say that a flap of a butterfly's wings across the world can start a tsunami on the other side of the world from the wind. And it's like, if you do one thing at a time and you le echas ganas en ese día, then maybe that day will long term have a long term effect onto the next day. Whether that you connected with someone, whether you started and you got your brand that you want labeled, that will set you up for success later on, instead of saying, fuck, I have 6 months to do this, or I'm 25, I'm getting old, I'm not a millionaire yet, you know? So take it a day at a time.
Yes. There's this question. I'll ask it to you, babe. Why do most married men cheat?
Married men?
Yeah.
You think there's more married men that cheat than when you're like dating?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's the opposite.
I think que se ve más in long-term marriages than in dating. Mm-hmm.
But what if they never married and they just long-term dated? That he would cheat again, though?
Well, yeah, but that's the question. What do you think? And you're married, so I want to know.
Why do married men cheat? I think it's because help me with the word complacency.
Complacency?
Like,
define that for me, please.
it's like you get too comfortable. Like you get complacent. Is that a word?
I have no idea.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that when you're dating, you know, you're spontaneous. You're that young love. You're trying new things in bed. You're having sex often. You're you're going on dates. You're stuff like that. And when you get married, unfortunately, a lot of people, they have kids. Their life becomes boring. Simple as that.
It becomes a routine.
It becomes a routine. You become comfortable. You see your wife every day in the same clothes, and maybe she just dresses up to go out with her homegirls. But when you take her out to Little Caesars, she just salen puro sweats and stuff, which is okay. But
not
like sometimes that I think that she's not dressing up for you, and same thing for guys. Like he's not taking care of himself anymore. Like, and now te pide ir con sus boys to watch a game y se va arreglado a eso. Y no se va arreglado cuando he takes you out on a date. So I feel like you get comfortable, you get complacent. And I think that's why married men cheat, because unfortunately 73% or 75% of divorces or cheating happens at work. So they're going to meet someone at work that reminded of what you guys had, that spontaneous, that like let's go in the janitor's office and cheat. So I feel like that's why cheating happens in marriages, because you get complacent. You don't like, obviously if you're with someone for a long time, the sex is gonna get like, you're gonna get used to it, you know what I mean? So if you're not trying new things, or you're not being romantic, like romantic sex, and then you're just have to have sex, then cheating's gonna happen. And I feel like that's where it happens. But don't let them fool you guys. Girls cheat just as much, but they don't get caught just as much. So
like the one trend that was going around, like, oh, my work husband, it's like that's pretty much like saying that you look forward to go see another guy at work.
Let me tell you something. How often do you see dogs having sex? Like, it's normal, right? Like also humping at the dog park. How often do you see cats having sex?
Never.
Okay, that's because you don't see pussies. It's like a metaphor. Like, you never see women cheat, you know? Pero ves a los perros cada ratito they get caught.
Oh yeah. That's right. And also another thing that I wanted to piggyback off that is, I feel like you get into a place where you think the grass is always greener on the other side. Like how Jonathan was saying, you stop being spontaneous. You stop trying. You stop I feel like you stop watering your grass, right? And then you go out to work and then you see this beautiful girl and you're like, oh man, like the grass is greener over here because she's being taken care of, you know? But if you're not taking care of your girl, if you're not taking care of your like man, then obviously it's gonna get to a point where both of you are unhappy in the relationship and you're just comfortable and you're just basically roommates living together and having sex because you have to have it, you know? So I feel like it's also not getting into that headspace of the grass is greener on the other side. It's knowing that you have to try. And I know a lot of like women start growing resentment towards their husbands, and I feel like that you should, instead of growing resentment towards them, first try to like tell them like, hey, like I don't feel loved because you don't do this anymore. Like maybe we should get your mom or my mom to look at the kid or watch the kids, and we can go on a spontaneous day or like on a little weekend trip, you know, and leave the kids. Like I feel like a lot of women also get lost in being mothers, and I feel like I've heard so many stories on YouTube and podcasts that I listen to that women get lost in being moms, and they think that all they live for is for being a mom. But as they always say, like your child has to see a happy marriage, and so you have to really 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 try in your marriage to make the family happy, because if your marriage isn't happy, then your child isn't coming home to a happy house, you know? So you just have
Yeah.
to make sure that you're trying. And then if you think that it's not enough, if he already cheated, like I feel like that's when you go to extreme, like, oh, we gotta get a divorce, you know? But
Yeah, I feel like you also have to be brutally honest. Like, hey, mijo, te estás poniendo bien gordo. Like, that's not the guy I met when we were dating, you know? If, of course, if you start taking care of yourself, you know? So then you have to communicate that with him. Be like, obviously, he's going to get butthurt. He's going to get offended. But if he's a real man and he loves you, he's going to change. He's going to want to get fit again. Because then you're at work, you see el cocinero or whoever ahí, está bien guapo, está bien amarrado, and then that's why cheating happens and stuff like that. Not even cheating. Maybe you're just te va a mover el tapete, you know, so little by little. Also, I heard this really good like story on TikTok. We basically, like, cheating happens when another person has the 10%. Say your wife is perfect 90%, like 90 up to 90%, and then but someone else has that 10%. You're gonna cheat and get that 10%, pero vas a dejar todo este 90. For example, let me give you a little example. It's like, for example, I feel like Blanca's perfect up like 99%. And I'd say the only thing is that she doesn't like video games, for example. And then say I was still working, and at work there was this girl that all she does is talk about video games, and I cheat because we have that connection. Video games, that's so cool. I imagine maybe a future where we're both playing video games. But then it comes to find out, I move in with her, and she's a piece of shit. Like, she doesn't like clean, cook. She's a horrible mother. She's all that, everything that Blanca was. So for example, a lot of people get stuck and they only see that 10% that another person has to offer, y están dejando todo este perfect 90%, you know, because you're not gonna be 100% compatible with someone else.
yeah, and I feel like you have to realize that it is a team effort. Like your marriage is a team effort, and you're not fighting like against each other. You should be fighting together for the marriage. So I feel like, yeah, you have to have really uncomfortable conversations. You have to actually want to communicate, because I know that there's a lot of people that get in a fight and they're like, no, like I'm stubborn and I'd rather him like not talk to me for the rest of the day, and then that's gonna turn into a week, and then you're gonna explode, and then you're gonna want to break up or get a divorce. It's like, no, you have to realize that, especially in a marriage, like dating is a little bit different, but in a marriage you have to try so hard. Obviously no cheating and no abuse and all of that, like that's definitely some things that are a no for staying. But I'm saying for like little things here and there that actually build up to a huge explosion, like you have to realize that you're in this together, like you're doing a team effort, and this family is only going to survive if you and your partner are fighting for it together and not trying to go like against each other. And I feel like you also have to go back to the first day you guys met, because this is what I do a lot. Like sometimes we'll get into an argument, right? And I'll like, with my pregnancy hormones, girl, I get really 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 upset over the smallest things. And then I like the headspace that I go in, and I was like, okay, I have to go take myself back to the day that we were broken up, and realize that that whole time all I could think about was him, and all I could think about was like, oh, I'd be so much happier if I was with him. I'd be so much happier if we ended up together. And I was like, I need to go back to that, like to being so afraid to not being afraid to lose him because we were already broken up, but it's like being so afraid to see him with someone else. Like I would never be okay seeing Jonathan with someone else. So it's like I have to realize that like lo que tengo, you know, like you have to appreciate what you have in the moment. Because I was like, imagine we did break up, imagine we did get a divorce. Like I put myself in those like extreme
What if I
situations,
died?
and I'm like, oh hell no, like I would not be happy, you know. So sometimes you have to put yourself in those like extreme situations and be like, what if he died tomorrow, like would I be happy, right? Like being mad at him, or he died, if we broke up tomorrow, like would I be happy because we broke up over this small little thing, you know. So I feel like you have to put yourself in extreme situations, and if like you're like, oh, if we broke up tomorrow I'd be happy, then that's when you realize like, oh shit, maybe I should leave, you know. But
Yeah, definitely. I understand. Um, like, ¿cómo se dice la palabra? Like, where you both compromise.
yeah, compromise.
Like I've seen it, and like kind of tying it to. I know compromise doesn't have to do with a lot with like what she said about what if I lose him, but it also like, how do I want to connect it? It's like the other day I noticed that you don't get mad anymore when I play video games. And now, what time do I finish playing video games now?
You guys
Early,
seriously,
like
holy
9:30,
shit.
10. Pero antes cuando se enojaba y me gritaba or whatever, she would
2
get mad.
a.m.
2 a.m. So it's like, it's the same thing. My mom used to never let me get ear piercings. I got them, and I only had them for 1 month. Pero me gritó, and she hit me all and called me names when I got them. And it's like, if she would have just stayed quiet and maybe not been like abusive or whatever,
In a week, they would have
in a
been
week
gone.
I would have se me hubiera quitado la tentación. Same thing with like that. Maybe your husband has a passion. The more you nag him, the more you tell him he can't do it, he's just gonna get por sus huevos, because we're men. We don't like to really get bossed around. He's gonna do it more. So when she would tell me like, "You ahí vas a jugar," I would have to pull my internet cord super quietly like down to the kitchen and connect it, and then ya empecé, ya sabía que se iba a enojar. And now she does it, and I get bored. Like I'd rather go lay down and watch Game of Thrones with her like at 9:30, 10.
Yeah, that's so funny because I was like, I think he's gonna talk about this because I made an effort, but only because, guys, TikTok is so good for like a lot of like relationship advice because it just comes up and you're not even expecting. You're like, oh shit, like I had to hear this. But it was like saying you need to be an individual también in your relationship. Like I feel like back then our relationship was pretty toxic because I was so codependent of him. I started looking at him playing video games as him taking me time. You know, like he has to be by himself. He has to like release stress. He has to talk to his friends and catch up with his friends. And then when he started doing that, I was like, okay, then I have to start doing something too. So then I realized that I needed me time too. Like at the end, basically all day Jonathan and I are together 24/7 doing something, whether we're eating together, working, or just like we're always together. So I was like, at the end of the day, it's nice to take a like couple hours by yourself and do what you want to do, because it's like, what if I'm here sitting like watching him play and like I'm doing my thing like on Instagram watching someone on live, you know? So I realized that the most important thing that you could do for yourself is take your own time, you know. So when Jonathan's playing, I'm like, oh, I have things throughout the day that I'm like, oh, I have YouTube videos that I want to catch up on, I have a show maybe that I want to start, I have I have to organize my room. So it's like he's taking himself time and then I'm taking me time, and then by the time like it's like 10:30, we're both going to bed at the same time, watching a show and falling asleep together. So it's like I feel like that has been really healthy for us, don't you think? Like I saw that on TikTok, one of the best tips is to make your partner feel loved is like to go to bed at the same time, because then it feels like you both are unwinding together, you both are ready to rest together, and I feel like that just makes you have even better sleep and a better day the next day. So I don't know, it took a lot from me, guys, a lot, because I really did. I'm not a fan of him playing video games, but it's like I realized that when I did that, less arguments, we would go to bed mad less times a week. Is that what I'm trying to say? So yeah, I think that was really good. That was really healthy on my part. So
Yeah, babe, good job.
pat on my
And
back.
you did it pregnant, which I'm assuming was harder.
Yeah, it was, but it like I feel like the reward was bigger. Because imagine if I was still mad right now, it would be worse. Because I'm pregnant, my emotions are higher. Oh, there's actually something I want to talk about with Jonathan. So yesterday Jonathan was like, I was here in the office, and he was like, "Ya cállate," because I was watching this TikTok of this girl. I forgot her name. I could look her up right now, but you guys know her. She's like the freaking queen of roasting men, and she laughs so freaking funny, and Jonathan was so annoyed of hearing her laugh. But basically what she does is like she stitches like
Men
what was it?
saying misogynistic.
Misogynistic men saying stupid shit, and like she roasts the shit out of them, you know. So it's so
I have
funny.
nothing against her, but she was like doing something on the
No,
computer.
yeah, it was just
and
because
the
it was
same
laughing.
TikTok was playing.
It was just her laugh. Like her laugh is so funny, but yeah, like I was watching like all her TikToks, so Jonathan got a little upset of that. But I'm not. That's not where I'm. The point is that I saw this TikTok and I wanted to bring it up to Jonathan and see what his thoughts were, because
I agree with the guy. No, just kidding.
you're gonna get canceled. The guy basically said, he's like, if my partner has a baby and I see that she's getting fat, I'm gonna give her just
saw that one.
He's like, I'm gonna give her just one chance to tell her that to get her shit together, and if not, like, I'm leaving, you know. And then I was like, holy shit, like the girl roasted the shit out of him, and I agreed with everything that she said, but I was like, what, like,
what did she say? I didn't see that part. I just saw where she came and started talking.
What did she say? She was just like going back on the girl, like she's like, oh, you have to, basically what you've said in the past, like if you feel that way towards her, then you better be buff as fuck. And you know, so I wanted you to bring that up because I like when you talk about that,
about the telling your wife. I just thought that was so funny because the top comment was coming from a guy that doesn't even have a wife or something like that. I was like, that's true. Like he's making up scenarios when he doesn't even have a wife or kids, or his wife's pregnant, or a girlfriend probably. And so yeah, guys, like a lot of us, and this goes for girls and guys, a lot of women want a buff guy, a 6'4" daddy, you know, super muscular, good paying, has a lot of money, but they're being whores out here every weekend with their friends and just spending their money on bottle service. You know what I mean? There's men out there that want a baddie with a big butt and a slim waist and super intellectual, doesn't go out and is a good girl and a virgin, but they're out here getting fucked up at the nightclub with their friends and or at the strip club with a beer belly at the age of 20, you know? So you gotta like what does it go, like good attracts good or whatever, like the same attracts the same. So if you want that type of person, then you gotta become that person, you know what I mean? So when I saw that TikTok, I saw the guy and it was like, what do you mean you're like, she still has to give, she still like gave up her body, she sacrificed her body to, like, she changed it, she knew her body was going to change, the stretch marks, the loose skin, the extra weight gained or lost, to give you your son, and you're still going to treat your wife like that afterwards. I thought that was so shitty, because sure, it's like the superficial part of it, like, oh, you've changed physically, you're not what I met you, but it's also the mental and emotion aspect of it. Like, this guy has no self-awareness of what his wife just went through, and about like I there's sometimes I'm constipated and I can't push a turd out and I'm crying, and now like imagining my like Blanca pushing out a whole 8, 9, 10 pound baby, it's like I'm thank God I'm not a woman, you know. Like, being a woman sometimes sounds cool, but like I would never be one because of the fact that you have to give birth, and not only is it like painful, but your body also gets changes. So I thought that was fucked up. So yeah, ladies, don't put up with that. Make sure your husband knows the sacrifice you're making, because it's a sacrifice, not like through the pain and stuff. You're changing your body, and you're gonna lose what you work so hard for at the gym, at the kitchen, eating healthy, and you're gonna lose all that. So make sure he values you, and I'm sure before you get pregnant, you should already know the type of guy you have, and that he won't speak like that guy did in that TikTok.
That's what I was about to say. It's like you have to choose your partner so wisely, guys. I feel like that is the one thing that a lot of people do not think about when they're like infatuated with this 6'4" daddy or whatever. It's like you have to choose him, not only like, you have to put yourself in that scenario, like, oh, when I'm pregnant, like, is he gonna be a good husband when I'm pregnant? Is he gonna be a good husband when I'm sick? Is he gonna be a good husband when I'm like, I can't take care of the kids and he has to like take on the full responsibility of taking care of them? I feel like you have to put yourself in that scenario, because then you end up with stupid guys like that think like, oh, if you gave birth, like, you still have to go and look the same way as you did before. Which, on the other hand, as I was gonna say, there's a lot of, I'm on mommy TikTok, you know, and there's this one girl that I saw her TikTok, and she was like, she posted her morning routine, and it was her like taking time to take care of herself. It was her waking up, doing her makeup, putting on a nice outfit, even though she wasn't going anywhere. But she's like, I do this for myself to set myself up for a good day, because if I look good, I feel good, and I feel like I have a more productive day, and I'm a better mom to my kid. And I feel like a lot of the comments were like, you're a mom, like you must be a first time mom, or you must be this, or you must be that. And it's like, oh, you must not really be a mom, because I would never, like I don't have time for all of that. And I was thinking about it. It's like, I'm not a mom yet, but I can see where you have to take the time for yourself, because if I wake up one day I don't get ready, I feel like shit the whole day, and I don't feel productive. But if I wake up one day and I get ready and I do my makeup and I put on a cute outfit, I feel more productive, because I want to do the dishes, I want to organize, I want to go out and like do something. So it's like, yeah, you have to take time for yourself and still put yourself first. So for now, like what I'm thinking about when when I give birth, and obviously I take my time to rest and let my body heal, I feel like that's going to be one of my biggest priorities, is myself, like taking care of myself. And I'm glad that I chose Jonathan, because I know that he's going to give me that time, like I know that he's going to be like, if I'm like, hey, I want to go live on Instagram and do my makeup, he's going to be like, okay, go ahead, like the baby's fine. So you have to choose wisely, especially because there's a lot of men that think providing money and like providing the dinner on the table is enough for a family. But it's like, no, you have to still come home and you still have to take care of the kids that you made with this person. So that's the one thing I do have to say, is like, you have to choose wisely and you have to prioritize yourself as well.
Yeah, this is gonna sting a lot for a lot of you girls out there, but I just don't understand like how you can have a lot of single moms have like babies with a guy, and then he changes completely like when the baby is born, and it's like, sure, something could have happened, something could have snapped in him that made him want to leave and stuff, but you should have known, like you should have had an idea of what type of man he was. Maybe he did something slight, like maybe you brought up a baby once or twice and he acted weird. Maybe he hit his dog or something, like something that like you must have seen that coming, but yet you still chose to have a baby with this guy. So I don't know, a lot of you guys need to have either a better sense of awareness around you, or just like don't do it for yourself, que tú quedes en pena. Do it for your kid, if he's not gonna grow up with the dad. So make sure you're picking your men out there real good.
Yeah, and that goes back to the advice we always give. It's like, if you're already having a tough relationship with someone, do not ever think that marriage or kids is going to strengthen that relationship or make it better or make it rainbows and butterflies. If there's red flags before you get married, before you have a baby, you have to take those red flags and run and get the heck out already, because having a baby and getting married, that's going to enhance the problems 100%, and it's going to be 10 times worse, especially porque la jodida vas a ser tú, like you're the mother. Like if the guy one day just wants to leave, he can leave and he will not come back. So it was funny. I got the other day, I put on my story that Jonathan put us on a subscription for milk, and all my messages were like, well girl, at least we know that he won't have to go out for milk.
Oh my god, I should have seen that
It's so fucking funny. But yeah, I was just, what was I even saying? But it's because it came up when I was like, oh, they can leave you whenever. But it's like, yeah, he can't go out to get milk anymore because we have a subscription. But
yeah, guys, like I always tell, I told Blanca this even before she got pregnant. I told her, like, as soon as she has a baby, she can go to the gym whenever she wants. I encourage her to go out and have like girls' night with her friends and leave the baby with me. She's like, are you gonna be able to do it? I was like, yes, of course. Like, it's gonna be scary at first, but like I tell her, like, go out, baby. You have to go out, because I don't want eso de la depre que te pegue.
Okay, I guess we can end with this one, because this is basically, I'm hoping, the last podcast pregnant, but they just want to know about our pregnancy experience, from both my perspective and your perspective. And I think it's good because the other day Jonathan actually asked me, he's like, was pregnancy as hard as you thought it was, or was it easier? Like, he asked me, like, how was it for you? And I told Jonathan, I think pregnancy was easier than I thought it was. I thought I was going to be miserable. I thought I was going to hate it. And even like at the beginning, the first trimester, it was kind of miserable just because I threw up a lot and I was nauseous 24/7. But even then, like, I wasn't miserable. Like, I didn't hate it and I didn't like wish anything else. Like, so yeah, I feel like all my fears, all my stresses about being pregnant they left. Like, I really don't think that I had a hard pregnancy, thank God. I still worked out through my pregnancy. I feel like I was pretty active, right, throughout the
Mm-hmm.
pregnancy, except this month and last month, because, girl, during winter you really can't do anything.
Last month you were still dancing at your baby shower.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like gym and stuff like that.
Oh.
I didn't do much of it. Also, I know that there's a lot of women out there that like have told me, like, how do you still keep up with your lashes? How do you still keep up with doing your hair and your makeup and your nails? And I'm like, I guess I just always prioritized myself. Like, I always wanted to feel good and I always wanted to look good. And I feel like I loved dressing on my belly. I love taking pictures, like my monthly pictures. So I feel like for me, thankfully, thank God, my pregnancy was a breeze and it was really, really nice. And I feel like we got a lot of things done this year, right?
Yeah.
Even while being pregnant. So thankfully, I had a really, really, really good experience, girls.
Yeah. I also noticed from like when what I hear and stuff like that, I feel like she really had a good pregnancy. Obviously there's always that superstition that when you're having a boy, it's like better and stuff like that, and then when you're having a girl, you feel like uglier and stuff like that. So, or you get more nauseous. So we'll have to see when we have our girl. We'll get back with you guys. But yeah, she's made this easier. I also feel like she did herself a favor. All the years of working out and lifting heavy have served her well, because now that she gained whatever the gain of weight that you get, it was nothing compared to squatting 2 plates, whatever. So I feel like for women out there, I feel like lifting helped her a lot. Exercising helped Blanca a lot, because no se hinchó de los pies, de los ankles, nada de eso, because her body was prepared and heavy duty enough to carry a stomach and carry a baby. I feel like les pega más a the woman. I was talking to my personal trainer about it too, and he's seen it, and his research he's done through college and stuff, that like women that have never stepped foot in the gym, and then they all of a sudden, it's like strapping on a 30-pound backpack to you and then carrying it everywhere for 9 months. Te vas a hinchar. You're gonna get sore, everything, because you never put your body through that type of thing. So yeah, definitely encourage you women out there to hit the gym every once in a while, or do some exercise that way.
Like, be active.
Mm-hmm.
Because even like they say being active for 30 minutes a day increases your lifespan or something like that. But yeah, that is true. Like, I don't remember like ever getting backaches, like telling you like, oh my God, my back hurts so bad, like you have to. I didn't gain a lot of weight either, and I feel like I'm excited to like get pregnant with the girl so I can see the difference and see if all of the myths are true. But it's true what Jonathan said. With a boy, dicen que you don't gain weight and you don't get wide, and with a girl you mostly get wide and you gain weight. She sucks the beauty out of you and the hinchas and all of this. So I'm excited to see that, but I'm still like, obviously before we have the baby, because in our plans we have that we want to have another baby when this baby's like almost going to school or already in like Head Start or kindergarten. So I'm pretty sure by that time like my body's gonna be back to being fit and like being active and stuff like that. So I'm definitely excited to see what my experience like that is, so I can tell you guys and like compare and tell you if the myths are true. But how was your experience with my pregnancy?
I thought it was better than what I don't think you were like moodier than usual, like to an extreme, Usually like they make it seem in movies they're like screaming and crying and throwing stuff at the husband, and you were never like that. You were pretty nice for the most part. Cravings, not really, once in a while.
I feel like now my cravings are like, now I'm like, hey, like take me for sure, but
but yeah, I think it's been way better than what media makes it seem or what other stories say. So yeah, 10 out of 10 recommend getting pregnant with a boy.
And that's why people say like never ever compare yourself to someone else ever, because there's women that just genetically are gonna gain more weight. There's women that genetically are gonna get stretch marks. This is one of the biggest things, and the biggest comments I get is like, why didn't you do this? Why don't you moisturize? Oh, use this, use that. I'm like, girl, I literally I did everything that you just listed, and I still got stretch marks because they're genetic. Like, I knew from the beginning, I knew that my mom had gotten stretch marks with her pregnancy, so I was like, I know I'm bound to get them, and I was prepared. And I didn't compare myself to all of the women that didn't get stretch marks. I didn't go on like pregnancy pages and see women without stretch marks and feel so bad about myself. I'm not embarrassed about them. I embrace them. I show show my belly. And I'm like, it's so sad because I get so many comments saying like, I wish I could show my belly like you. Like, I'm so embarrassed. I don't like to do this. I don't like to do that. And I'm like, that is so sad. Like, you can't compare yourself because not one person is going to have the same experience as you, the same body as you, or anything like that. When I talked to my doctor, she said that there's women that gain 20 pounds with pregnancy, and there's women that gain up to 60 pounds with pregnancy. It's like, you can't compare yourself because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know if maybe you're going to be more hungry, or if maybe you're going to be more nauseous and like have a terrible experience with like morning sickness and all of that. So that's the one thing I really, really, really recommend is like, don't compare yourself to someone, especially on social media, because there's ways to Photoshop your stretch marks. There's ways to make your skin look smoother. There's ways that you can literally make yourself look way different, and people only put the highlights on Instagram and on YouTube and everything else. Like, people can literally have such a bad life and make it seem like they have a perfect life on social media. So don't compare yourself. That is like the one thing I can tell you, because the more you compare, what is that? Comparison is the thief of happiness. Is that the quote? So yeah, that's like the one main
piece of advice
that I have. Damn, I'm losing everything, girl. I'm out of breath. I can't think anymore.
Yeah, guys, but thank you so much. That has been it for today. I hope you're having a safe drive, especially if you live in Colorado. It's a little slippery out there. And if you live in California, Florida, or Texas, I'm very jealous of you because you guys have
not Texas, because they're having another freeze.
Really?
Yeah.
Or LA because they're having a tsunami.
Oh shit.
And Florida's just chilling. But anyways, guys, we love you. Thank you so much for staying and listening throughout this whole podcast. You're the best. Thank you for all the support. 41,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. Did I say 1,000?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate every single one of you.
Yep, and go ahead and pray for us that we have this baby soon, because I am tired, girl. Tired. And yeah, keep up with us on social media. Follow us on our social medias. A lot of people are asking us, oh, like, how long are you gonna wait to show us? I'm like, girl, we're probably gonna show you the day he's born. So follow us on social media if you want to keep updated with baby. And that's it. That's all guys, we got for today.
Please make sure you follow us on Instagram, because I'm usually the one that takes care of the giveaways, and I do the lives, and I'll probably go live when the baby's born, once he's like nice and safe and she's safe. I'll go live and show my son, which I'm very excited to do. So we always get complimented because we're those type of YouTubers that don't have people waiting. Our baby shower went up the next day. Our gender reveal went up the next day. Our name video, you'll know his name the day or the next day he's born. So don't worry, guys. Go follow us on the other channel, J&J Vlogs. We love you. Any last words?
Nope. We will see you guys next Friday.
Later.